Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 6 of our Let's Play series, the 1941 scenario as the Soviets in War in the East 2. In this episode, we're going to be covering the air phase of turn 3 and the first half of our ground combat phase, focusing on the northern theater that we're dealing with here today. I continue to have more and more thoughts about this campaign, and I keep going back and forth between great optimism and great pessimism about how things will turn out. So I'm continuing to change my strategy a few times. And maybe strategy is not the right word. I'm continuing to change the tactics in my mind of how best to approach this. Because I continue to think that perhaps in the first turn, the second turn, we withdrew too quickly from the front. I continue to get that impression as I look at the results from the Germans' advance through their last turn here, as we now enter turn 3. So I think we might move forward with, again, overarching strategy stays the same. Try to get an established front line that runs from Leningrad down to Lake Ilmen, down through this heavily forested area to roughly Smolensk. And again, the Germans will take Smolensk, but this just kind of building this bubble from Lake Ilmen running across to Oryol or Tula, right? And then coming south to Kursk, Kharkov, all the way down to the Crimea. That's kind of like our first line of defense that we do want to try to establish. And if you remember back to the first episodes, I was really kind of thinking, okay, yeah, we're going to put units here. We're going to start building this line. We'll let them come, so that way when they get to us, we are ready, we are dug in, and we are waiting for them, all prepared. But I look at some of these areas, and I just look and say, boy, are we giving up too much ground by trying to build our front line too far from where the Germans are this turn, next turn, etc. That's the struggle I keep going back and forth with in my head, and I do think that it's one of the finer balance issues that the Soviet player has to consider in this campaign is, did they retreat fast enough, but not too fast, right? Because the German forces being so overwhelming, it can be very easy to just kind of lose yourself in a withdrawal and give up all of these positions that maybe were actually very defensible, right? And I have lots of thoughts about this topic, and I keep going back and forth on it. So I think the tactic that we're going to employ, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, is we'll still have kind of that frontline concept of trying to build it. But I think what we're going to do is pretty much across the front, where we can, we're going to use our units to build layers, is how I would describe it, where we're going to take these units and try to just position them sporadically in the most defensible hexes possible to try to build just as thick of a line as we can. It's not going to be as consistent. It's not going to be all connected. We're going to have units get cut off, etc. But I want to try to approach this layer strategy of just, if this entire pocket that I'm looking at here in my mouse swirling around, right? If this entire pocket, we've got, say, 15 units in total here in this pocket, from where the Germans are today to about where they are currently positioned on our front line, I want to spread these 15 units out in the 15 most defensible hexes that we have reasonably available to us to create kind of this multi-layered approach to just creating this line. And obviously that can't be a strategy forever, because eventually we do have to get to some type of front line. So I think how this is going to evolve is that as I bring in these reinforcements, which we're going to have a lot of reinforcements this turn that we can start using, which is really, really good news, that what we will do is as they come up to the front, they will then form these defensive layers behind our current existing forces. And then as our current ones retreat, and as the next layer retreats, they'll keep retreating back to, and I think they'll start coalescing into a front line. That's my theory. could be horribly wrong, but I think it's the approach I want to try, because I'm not sure my current one of having all of this gap, all of this empty space between us and the German line has been working so well. I think they've taken too much ground in the first couple of turns, and it's very possible, too, this is not something we can recover from, but gosh darn it, we're going to try. So let's give it a shot here in this episode to start that approach with the northern half of the front. I'm going to jump right into it and toss our air units with AI air assist. It's just not something I've tackled, and I feel like I'm ready for in this episode or this scenario to the level of granularity that's probably needed. So we're going to let the AI help us there. Go ahead and execute the air directive. And a bit of a producer, director, what have you, error that I just made there is all of my rambling about our shift in tactics and strategy I should have been talking about here while we're going through the air execution phase. So forgive my inefficiency there. I'm all caught up in thoughts of how to stop this advance. This is going to be tough. I'll be honest with you. I think this is going to be very, very tough. And again, if you're a new player, and you're watching this as kind of the YouTube series to try to get into the game, well, I don't want to discourage you from watching it. I would say another series like perhaps my Stalingrad to Berlin or various other series that other contributors in the community have made may be better options, simply because they may be a little bit more stable, a little bit more structured in the approach and how they communicate to you, the new player, how to tackle this game. This episode, this series, I don't want it scaring you of thinking, oh my gosh, he's been streaming this for 50 hours and he's having trouble figuring out what to do. What chance do I have as a new player, right? It's until 2 months ago I was a brand new player too. So don't think of it that way. I would just say there's a lot of content out there that's really good for your first couple of series to watch. I know I offer a playlist out there, which again I'm biased, but I would recommend to you. And there are plenty of others that have content out there as well. There's actually a forum post on the Matrix forums that's stickied that has a link to the various YouTube series that have been made for the game. Went off on a great big old tangent there, so we're going to get back to the focus. Let's just start with some of these units right by moving them up, because we want to try to get these guys off of this peninsula here and move them all up. HQ unit there. Just going to try to get those on the other side. So here we're starting to dig in a little with these units. This infantry division will come and help. And again, it's not going to be a perfect line, but if we can get these guys all to fortification level 2 and create some type of stopping force. Actually, I think they can cross over there, so we might need to take one of you up there. Yeah. And we might take an infantry division or two down here to help reinforce this, but I want to try to gauge how quickly are they going to move up here. I don't think next turn they'll make it, and I don't think the turn after they'll make it. Just, I look at the terrain, and I look at where they're kind of positioning their forces right now. I mean, we even have recon here that they have fortification levels here, which is really a little surprising to me, but I think as the German player, their focuses are going to be Smolensk, Peskov, right? Because they see this is the route towards Leningrad, not through to Lin. In my humble opinion, could be horribly wrong with that. I wonder with the port in Tallinn if it makes any sense to have it as a city fort. I hadn't considered that. But Louis brought up a great point in the comments about the value of city forts, and had noticed that I had not yet made Odessa one, and I still a little on the fence, but I think he might have convinced me to make Odessa into a city fortification. Certainly I was planning on Leningrad and Stalingrad and maybe Kursk and a few others, but Odessa I was kind of writing off maybe a little too early. We'll see when we get to that in the next episode. I'm going to procrastinate and give myself another day or two to think about what I want to do there. So that takes care of those units' movements. Then we get to Peskov, and we see here in the previous turn they had come up just south of Peskov here along the river, and they kind of had this concentration. And then in this last turn we had pulled back some units, and there was also some fighting. So you see all of this, and let's take a look. These two surrenders are just the machine gun units, so I'm not going to cover those in any detail. Here we had a border guard unit that was just routed, right? So it's pretty much done for. Only has 100 men left. We took out 60 of theirs. Just wasn't good enough, right? Here we had a rifle division, which did end up retreating, but didn't really take too bad of casualties, so I'm not too disappointed by that. Over here we had another rifle division, but this one shattered. Given the strength of what attacked it, it was the 8th Panzer and 36 motorized, and we didn't hurt them at all. So that was probably a rifle division I probably should have pulled back, because it doesn't look like it was necessarily ready for the battle. Here we have a border guard detachment that shattered. Makes sense, 1,800 men versus 17,000 on the defensive, right? But what it did was it took this panzer unit that's here behind the hex, and it forced them to stop, attack, and lose some combat preparation points, which is one of the purposes. Here we see the rifle division that had previously just retreated, that didn't suffer many losses, actually took 2,000 men lost, and then there was also a mechanized division that retreated. So we had some losses here. I think the only Solus, it's so minimal, but every single one we can count like this matters so much. We took out 3 Stug 3s. Right? We lost a ton of T-26s and T-38s and BT-5s, all of which are really pretty light-oriented tanks. I think, is the T-26 even a cavalry tank? I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the BT-5, but just these aren't the mainstay of our armor forces. Losing them isn't a huge impact to us. Them losing 3 Stug 3s, they'll be using Stug 3s for the entirety of the war. It's a very efficient SP gun. Anyways, getting into this, we now find ourselves where Peskov is very close to being encircled, right? They just need 2 hexes here, and they've encircled in Peskov. And honestly, with what we have right now in that hex, I don't know that it's going to be enough to actually defend Peskov for another turn. So we have a bit of an inflection point, a decision here to make of, do we toss into Peskov this rifle division? We're not going to take the route at 1 back down, but do we toss this rifle division into Peskov to help with the defense? And boy, it's a tough call, because right now they have 20 combat attack value, we have 28 defense. Adding another infantry division into it, well, if it's anything like the 183rd, it'll add 15 defensive value. You know, I think we will, because the way I'm looking at this is that rifle division stands a better chance of hurting the enemy, actually doing some damage to them when it's concentrated here, as opposed to right now it looks like it's going to be quite easily picked off, if not that, just completely bypassed and encircled by the forces that are currently moving here north. So what I'm going to do is take this and actually, yeah, we can't bring it up right now because we have too many units there. So I actually think I'm going to just disband this. Then we're going to bring down this rifle division. So now we're up to almost 50 defensive combat value. Bring the HQ units back here. This rifle division, I just want to get the heck out of Dodge, right? So they're just going to go due north here. I actually might take this entire stack, and we're just going to bring them back another couple of hexes. This mechanized division does not look like it can currently escape out of the zone of controls of the enemy here, which is, of course, unfortunate because it means we're going to lose the units that are there. So the question is, do we move it back here or here? I think here, just because it'll help a little bit with defense. They're still just going to get overrun, though. But it also then gives them one more unit they have to go through to get in behind Peskov if they decide to encircle the city. This border guard unit is the one that had suffered that defeat, and I'm just going to disband it, but it looks like I can't. I'm sure there's a mechanic for why, but I'm not familiar right now with what it would be. So we will just take you back up here. Okay. So there's that. Now we have to start looking at how do we slow this advance north, right? And also what's really key for me is I want to make sure they don't break through south of Lake Gilman. I worry a little bit about that. Because if they do, it's going to make it very difficult then for us to use that as kind of the, what's the metaphor with, just missing a term, sorry guys. Now, we'll lose it as our door hinge, right? That our door will swing north here to create this north-south line as we slowly retreat here. It's our pivot point, right? If they get past here south of Lake Gilman, then they're just for a while going to be free running. So I do want to hold it. So we're going to try this whole layers thing. And I think we might move this airborne brigade down here. And then I'm going to take this rifle division to that swamp hex. I think I might leave you there. I'm going to move you up here. Okay, so you have some room to move. Good. Let's get you up here somewhere. Let's have you right here. Going to bring you here. And so moving a lot of these guys pretty far north. That is very much intentional. And we are going to have to kind of backfill these units. That rifle division I might leave there. Because we actually need to get both of you to refit. Geez, you're not ready either. It's not going to do much up there. Okay, anyways, we have to keep building this out. Here, I love these rough terrains, right, which really kind of represent hills and difficult terrain that is not easily navigated. So I'm really going to try to take advantage of these positions here, right, making it almost impossible for them to get anywhere through here just by having those 3 infantry divisions. Then go there. So you see we're really just moving everything a little further up here. And now, of course, we have really kind of stretched ourselves where we're not as dense north-south here, right? But we've moved up and we've tried to help reinforce a little here. This infantry division we're going to bring down here, I think, to backfill where that unit was, and we'll let them dig in. We have a lot of militia up here with Leningrad right now, and I'm actually going to take some of these infantry divisions and start moving them south here. It's like we'll let them start digging in here, and that's a pretty important hex right across the river, heavy woods, etc. Don't know that we want to take the militia out of there. This tank division, though, we might bring down. It's not ready to move, though, so we can't. We have a mechanized division here. They are unready, so we're going to set them to refit. There actually wasn't too much up here. Okay. I'm going to take that Leningrad militia there. That one goes there. Start building that line, right? It's going to be so key that we start having these guys dig in. And I might have you come up there. Okay. And then again, all these forces, a lot of them are just security, I get it, right? But they can start falling back to Leningrad if they push through here. We still have multiple turns, right, until we have to start worrying about, like, the actual defense of Leningrad. At least I think we have multiple turns. Again, maybe I ruined that with my initial strategies, turns 1 and 2. So we still have a lot more opportunity to bring in units from the reserves, much like how we have here this turn. So it's not like this is all we're going to have to defend the city. But now I think we really need to focus on how do we use our reserve units, and what I'm really worried about are two spots here. I'm worried about west of Smolensk here and east of Smolensk in between Bryansk, because we are very thin here with nothing that really is defensible at the moment. So that has me greatly concerned. So I think what we might do is, like, here we have these 2 units. I think we'll take the one that's in a ready status and we'll move them up here. This unit I'm also going to bring up here. Might take one of you down here, I think. There we go. Can take these guys off the train and consider where we want them to be. No, you're not going to do anything there. Nor is this mechanized unit there. Yeah, boy. I worry about some of those. You're good there. You, I'm going to move up to those heavy woods. I have 3 tank divisions. They're all that are unready, so set you all to refit. All of these units we're going to move up. Gotta start moving these up. Let's see where we can get you. Let's see, have you come there? Right, so we've weakened ourselves on this part of the front, but we're hoping to compensate it by moving forward. And my theory here is maybe by moving forward, even though we're now weaker, we buy ourselves another turn to fall back here to this line that we kind of originally stated. That's my thought on that. Might be horribly wrong, but it's my thought on it. Over here we have a rifle division. We can move up. Let's have them come up there. Western Front HQs are fine there. You're probably okay right there, holding kind of that line. Got a bit of a gap here. Since free to come south there a little. Move that HQ unit back. Move you south one. Yeah, that didn't work that great, so now you're out. Let's actually take you up here. There we go. Yeah, okay. You there. Come up there with them. I just realized I have gone too far south. I got so into the groove here. We have gone too far south, and we need to go back actually to Smolensk and focus on that defense. So let me just finish up a few units here while I have my train of thought going. And then we're going to go back up north. I got a little carried away. All right, so now we have these layers here to kind of defend instead of just one front line. There we go. Okay, back to Smolensk where we actually left off. So they got pretty close, right? They got all the way up here. If we look at battle results, here they first scouted our rifle division and tank division. And then in the second attack, they used the 20th Panzer and pushed back our 129th Rifle Division. We lost 3,000 men, and unfortunately, even though we were in a defensible position, we only destroyed 3 of their armor units. And frankly, they were the weakest we possibly could have destroyed. We got 1 Panzer IV. That's the only win there. But I mean, the Panzer Is, the PZ-38, they're certainly light tanks, much like the ones were that we had. And to be fair, in this early in the war, a large chunk of the armor forces were light tanks. I shouldn't be so critical, right? Of it's just a light tank. That was really kind of the situation. So I might be a little too hard on them as I say that stuff. They also bypassed our 2 units that we have here, and they've kind of gone in between our line along the river here. So I think what I might try to do is, since they've chosen to just bypass us, if I can maybe get some of these units out and try another line here. So like in that hex, we're going to bring back this HQ unit. This unit, I'd really much kind of rather have them take another stab at a defensible position. So let's have them come up here. Yeah, you're not adding much to it, but it's something, I guess. These guys probably aren't going to be able to make it out. So what to do? Your supplies are getting horribly low. You're at 23%. 20. Oh, gosh, that's awful. These guys are going to run out of food in the next week. You know, I think I'll just move them up here and kind of have them make it one super stack of men without food sitting on a hill, I guess. That's tough. That is tough. Back to Smolensk here. They haven't crossed this side of the Dnieper, and I don't think I'm going to move down there to defend it because there's just not defensible terrain, right? This unit, boy, I wonder if I should keep it there. I think I will, just because these units they can either continue going north, but if they do that, they have to expend movement points going through our zone of control, right, which is to our benefit. It weakens them a little bit. Or they can try to push through. Either way, I feel like it impedes their progress towards Smolensk, so I'm going to leave that one rifle division there. Now, we pulled a lot of units from this area here out to defend west, right? So what we need to do now is take units from our reinforcement pool that we have here and try to get them down here to defend. So I'm going to take this unit, and we actually have a rail yard here, which is going to let us unload the unit in the same turn, which is really, really big for us. I'm going to move them north there. Let's also take this infantry division. We'll have them come down and do the same. Take them off the train and move them up. Let's do the 251st. Take them off the train. Might leave them there, actually. Let's also take some, like the 266. Oh, I'm not on a rail line there, so I have to get on a rail line. Let's go here, embark, go here, and get off the train. And they will eventually come south here, right? We'll do another unit like that. What do I now have? 3 here? I do. Okay. So let's take the tank division off. There we go. Going back here. Unload them. Might just leave them there. Okay. I also want to get a couple north here. So let's take these 2 units, bring them north here to this rail yard, take them off the train. I think we'll do one more like that too. Okay. So they are there. You're not on a rail line, so we have to move you to a rail line. I think I'm going to yeah, I'm going to bring a couple. Going to do, how many units do I still have left back here? Quite a few. I'm going to do 2 more infantry rifle divisions that will go here, I think. Can any of you move off the hex? You can. Okay, so you can move. Let's take you up. Like I said, we'll do 2 more here. Oh, we don't have enough to unload. Shoot. Okay, well, if that's the case, if you're going to have to stay on the train, I'm just going to have you go there. And then we'll also have this infantry division go up there somewhere. Far enough away that I know they're not going to be getting overrun, but the next turn they're close enough they can kind of get into position, right? Now let's look, because the other area that I'm concerned about is south of Smolensk, in between Bryansk and such. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a rail yard in between. We have a rail yard here in Smolensk and over here in Bryansk. So let's see if we bring you down to Smolensk, take you off the train. How far can you move? You can move next to nowhere. Good. Okay. Well, let's get you off the hex, and we're going to keep bringing a few more units down south. Take you off. Okay. You are not on a rail line. Okay. I'm going to take this HQ unit off for a minute. Let's take both of you here. Take both of you. And I don't know that you're going to have enough movement points here in Bryansk to unload to disembark, but we're going to try. But we can't because that hex is full right now of the tank division, so I might have to move all these guys down to Smolensk. It's not the end of the world, I guess. Okay, take you both off. Don't have enough. Great. And you don't have enough movement points to move. Goodness, the logistics of this are getting a little difficult. Just gonna move you off there then. This tank division should be able to get there and disembark just fine. Okay. The division can go down. And take this entire stack. And I'm going to move them here. Right, so they can kind of spread out here in the next turn once they get off the train. And then I think the remaining one or two that I have, I just have one left. That's unfortunate. We will allocate you back over here. Yeah, okay. Now let's actually go with the units we have in Smolensk, how we're going to have them break out, right? So the 162nd Rifle Division is unready and is adding next to nothing to that defense. So what I'm going to have them do is retreat back here, set them on refit, and let them maybe dig in over the next couple of turns, because ultimately we will get pushed back to kind of holding this line, because from here back to here, we're not going to be able to hold this terrain that is perfectly clear against a spearhead of motorized units, right? They will overwhelm us. So in a couple of these spots, we're just going to actually take a unit back, right? Let's see if we have other examples here. You're okay, you're okay. Yeah, I don't have any movement points to move. Very well. This rifle division was brought in. What do we have back here? Another rifle division. Might actually have them come over here and help with this defense. Yeah, let's have them go there. Because we are a little weak still here. I don't think they're going to break through to Smolensk this turn. If they do, I would be pretty surprised. So I think we can start kind of building this secondary line here north of Smolensk. Let these guys dig in a little bit. We have a rifle division that will spend the turn in Smolensk just in case. Again, don't think they'll be able to. Back here, you're on reserve in case they attack here. That makes sense. Wonder if maybe I pull one of you back. I don't know if there's a huge difference in this line between 6 and 5. Yeah, I'm gonna pull you back. I'm gonna have you go up here, I think. Yeah, I think that's just more value add, honestly. Then you, oh, you can move quite a ways here. It's rifle division, but they're not ready. See, like when we look at their TOE, rifle squad's 46%. God, that's brutal. So I might just let them stay there, I think. Is that Swamp Hex? It is Swamp. Yeah, I guess you can stay there. All right, because they will end up breaking through here. And this entire stack of mechanized units, I just don't know that they're doing any good there. So I'm going to pull them back a little too. Yeah. Yeah, we'll let you stay there. Okay. Over here, let's maybe bring you up to hold that hex, maybe? Or do we reinforce you here? They're just going to take the city, and that really does kind of suck, but I don't know any way to prevent that. Guess we can add depth by going there. Yeah, okay. Alright. But then we have more here. So like there's this tank division, which is unready, of course, but we can at least bring them up here to Smolensk. Set these both to refit. Do we have others we need to set? I don't think so. Okay. We got more units here. Keep them up. Moscow militia, we're going to keep around Moscow to get ready for that kind of worst case, right? Let's see. Moscow militia, all of you are. Yep, you're going to stay there. This mechanized unit will have come down here. And I think in the next episode we'll go through and do some assignments of command structures and such. What do we have up here? I don't need you back there. I need you on the front line, sir. You are being called up. Have them come up to Smolensk. Can I get them off? I can. Okay. So that adds considerably to our defense of Smolensk with that one unit. And then, was there... Oh, gold mine. Another rifle division. Is there somewhere even better that I can put you than Smolensk? Does it make more sense to have you come down here? I think this might be our new problem area. No, you know what? I'm going to have them go here. I'm going to have them get off the train. Oh, they don't have enough? Shoot. Okay, we're going to have them come back there then. Just some rookie mistakes by me, I think. This tank division is sitting on refit status, but I'm still going to bring you up here to the front. I'm going to have to wait a turn on you. You're on refit by Ariol. Other units kind of in the rear here. Do we have other surprises we can leverage? Look at this. Look at this. The 18th Rifle Division. Let's bring you up. Oh, wow. Okay, so you are quite a ways away. So let's bring you up here to Moscow. Actually, I'm going to have you go as far south here as you can, actually. Yeah, so a lot of these cities back here have pretty full strength divisions we can leverage. have enough for you to get over there. But I can bring you up here. Okay. It's like I'm looking for goodie bags now. See, another rifle division. Look at that. I found a goodie bag. Might send you here north of Peskov. Yeah, we'll have you go there. In there. Oh, no more goodie bags. Wow, this map is huge. I sometimes forget how big they made the map. Nope, there's a goodie bag. Multiple goodie bags. This rifle division will bring... I think... also have them come up here. They can come here. There we go. Good. So now I'm feeling a lot better about how, you know, what we've brought in, like 4 or 5 divisions here. They can start forming a line west-east before they get to Leningrad. Brought in a couple units here south of Lake Ilmen. Really moved a lot of these units up, right? So I still think we got a bit of a gap here. If they were to push due east of Peskov, terrain would really slow them down, but we're a lot weaker here. And then I worry about how they're going to be able to capture Roslov. I would have liked to have held here a little longer, but I think we're going to have to use this terrain east of Smolensk down to Bryansk a little bit more to our advantage. Right? I think we're just going to need this entire line to fall back a little bit, which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, okay. Let's actually, while we are in this mode of the northern half of our front, let's take a look at reserves and let's bring up more units, right? Looks like a lot of these are going to be locked, which is unfortunate. Tank division's locked. You're locked. Not locked, sorry, your TOE is too low for me to pull you up, in my opinion. That rifle division's good. We'll send you to the map. Yeah, it looks like we have some good units here that can go to the map. Some rifle divisions. So we're going to send all of these guys. And they're going to populate by Rzhev again, which I'm fine with. I think it's kind of a good in-between for us. And it will be really curious to see then where they push next turn and where we can respond to in the northern half. We will probably in a turn or two have to start thinking though about the south half of the front. North is going to stay our priority, but we might need to spend a turn worth of reinforcements going to the southern front. Maybe even more than one turn, maybe 2 turns. For a lot of these guys, the TOE is 92, which is going to be good enough. Usually I like to have something like, say, 97 or thereabouts, but yeah. Okay, you're all going. It actually looks like our Transcaucasus and Far East boxes got a little better, probably due to just scheduled reinforcements. Northern is still looking pretty poor, though. But we're going to let those continue to be populated, because if we look at the transfer and withdrawal schedules, there are a lot coming in that aren't going just to the map or our reserve box here. So it's a pretty real thing that some of them are being transferred over to those other theater boxes. Doesn't look like any of the AA is going to be high enough to assign. Yeah, nope, doesn't look like it. There's one mountain infantry still locked. Okay. I don't know, guys. It's going to be tough. I think we did some good work here in this episode. reinforcing a little bit, but I do think it's going to be really tough. A lot of things I kind of keep second guessing, like yeah, let's not have you there. Or do we? It slows them down. I guess it really doesn't matter if you're a 1 defensive value or a 2 or even a 3. It's not going to stop these guys, I guess. We just want them to exhaust combat preparation points and decrease their combat value, really is the goal with that guy. Okay, so we'll leave you there, I guess. We got 4 divisions there that came in as reinforcements. We have 4 more up here. So I mean, that's roughly, just speaking to those, that's roughly 8 that we can have going northwest here through this peninsula. That then, as they push us back, we will start to pivot, right? Where the line first is like this, then goes like that, like moving through a clock, right? It's pivoting off of this central point here, which is Novgorod, until eventually we have this north-south line by Leningrad down to Lake Ilmen. And then the reinforcements we keep bringing into Rzhev. I think what we will do is this line from south of Lake Ilmen down to Smolensk, really not Smolensk, that's poor to say, Lake Ilmen down to Veliki Luki. What we will do is the rate at which they are aggressively pushing here is the rate at which we will give reinforcements directly from Rzhev. But I really don't think we need 20 divisions to defend this terrain, right? And again, the objective is to slow them down long enough to keep getting more and more reinforcements. They are not going to get to Moscow by going through all of this terrain. I don't think so, at least. Their route to Moscow is going through Smolensk, where there's kind of this path where there's some swamp, but there's not much swamp. There's light woods instead of heavy woods, right? This is their path to Moscow. And stopping at Rzhev for logistics, right? Because it's that crossroad. They want to deny that to us. All of these good things. Well, bad things. They're horrible things for us. They're bad things for us, but good things for the German player. Actually, I'm sorry. There were just a couple more housekeeping things we need to do. Is we have some isolated units here that we just need to take a quick look at. Again, I want to keep these guys kind of on the run and making them chase us a little. So we're going to bring them back there. This infantry unit, I actually think I'm going to... So we've cut off this railroad, right? So that has rail damage. This should have rail damage. It does. Okay. So I think we're going to come down here. Took that depot. We might kind of hold up there for a turn. Down here. Which way do we want you to go? What's this terrain? Clear, even though it has leaks in it. I don't think there's any heavy woods we can run to. We might just have to go to these light woods, or I go here hoping they don't have anything that's nearby. Let's go here to these light woods, then up here. Because that's now more rail hexes for them to repair. For here... Yeah, you know, I'm just going to spread some of these guys out a little. So you go down there. Go to the hills. Tanks you. We're not going to be able to take Minsk again, are we? Are we? We took Minsk again? How the hell did that happen? Okay. Okay. So what can we get there quickly to reinforce it? What are our strongest rifle divisions? Let's bring you up. Now we're at 16. You have 9,000 men, you can't make it, so it's going to have to be this rifle division. What the hell? Why did they do that? I can't figure that out. Yeah, I can't put you on reserve because you're in an unready status. A lot of HQ units just sitting here, aren't there? No, I'm going to have you keep kind of roaming around trying to cut off some of these rail lines. You've already moved. Let's get you into the swamp. You will take over there to the heavy woods. You will take up to the rough terrain. Right, defensive value of 6, that's very helpful. This rifle division can get there too. It's now at 7. Didn't actually add much. Let's actually just have you keep going north here. You go there to those hills. Have you come down here. Where else can I go with some of these guys? Let's move you down. You come there. Yeah, I'm kind of running in circles now. Okay. Fair enough. But we've kind of redone this Minsk pocket. We somehow got Minsk again. I mean, if they would have had just even a security force in Minsk, we wouldn't have been able to take that. The combat value for offense is 1 for good reason. And I mean, I have every expectation they will just take it back next turn, but it's going to be a lot harder than just having kept the darn thing. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I think that will call the episode to a close. Thanks for your patience as we work through this and try to figure out the best strategy. Thank you, as always, for giving the video and the series a watch and a listen. Appreciate everyone's support. The community is always fantastic in providing great suggestions and helping everyone learn the game better because it is so in-depth. It is incredible. I will record an entire episode, completely forget that a mechanic even exists, and then be reminded of it in a comment and go, how the heck did I miss that, right? So thanks guys for following along. We're going to keep doing more content on here. I think this weekend we're going to have our 3rd Let's Play launch, and this to a lot of you I know is going to be a bit of a disappointment, but it's not going to be War in the East related. It's going to be a new game to the channel. And I think for the most part we will probably stick with 3 Let's Play series going at any one time, which means every 3rd day each playlist will have a new video. So you will have every 2 days a War in the East 2 content, and then on the 3rd day you will have a new and different game we haven't yet touched. And hey, maybe you'll all be fans. Maybe you'll enjoy it just as much. I hope so. I've been enjoying it. And yeah, I think though, I think for the very foreseeable future, I'm going to be doing content though with Gary Grigsby games at least part-time constantly, just because I'm so fascinated by this, and it has grabbed me like a hook since I've learned how to play War in the East 2. I really want to get into War in the West and really the Papa Daddy of them all, War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. I have been behind the scenes trying to learn that game. It is of course very difficult, very detailed, and just very time intensive. But we will get that game on this channel, as well as other Gary Grigsby titles. So lots to look forward to there in the future. Again, thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, please leave them in the comments section and I'll reply as soon as I can. And with that, as always, strategy gamers, have yourselves a great day. Bye now.